Yes. You wrote?
The art of asking the right questions.
How are you all? I can't hear anybody.
Great, but not prepared.
Not prepared. Okay, whatever evolves in the session, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So, well, as usual, we attend, we have these sessions, the art of asking the right questions today as a topic under the main topic that is secrets of living a full life. So, a full life means a fearless, unstoppable, limitless, and loving life. Okay. So, whenever we communicate or we make a connection with somebody, it always starts with a question, right? So you meet somebody, you say, hello, how are you? What do you do? Correct? It starts with a question. Now, questioning is an art. It depends on what information you want to elicit from somebody. So, how do you word the questions? What is it that you ask that will get you the information from the other person? So, there are different kinds of question that can be asked depending upon the situation. Like, for example, searching questions. What are searching questions? Searching questions are questions that you ask to get the maximum information for any particular work. Now, an example of a searching question is um, like, for example, when you came to me to enroll into the public speaking course or the personality development course, I asked you a lot of questions, right? Does anybody remember any question that I asked you? Yes, Krishna?
How was the behavior like with your friends and everything? That kind of questions it was like not a specific
How,
question, but it was kind of this kind of
okay. So if I asked you about your friends, okay. So how many friends do you have? Now, the intention of asking that question is to know whether you are an extrovert or an introvert. Correct? So there's an intention behind the question. So whatever questions you ask to get more data or more information is where you will be very precise and clear in what you have to offer to the client. Okay. So today we say no, data is the king. Correct. So the more data you get, the more clearer you will be, and the more you can facilitate to bring about whatever change that is there. These kind of questions are called as searching questions or probing questions. Suppose you are a project head in a company and you want a project to be done well. First of all, you have to ask a lot of questions related to how the project is expected to be completed by you to the higher ups. So you get proper information as to, well, I should do it like this within the time frame of this many days and involving so many people with so much resources. Okay. So when you have clarity now, you cannot go wrong. When you have clarity, you cannot go wrong. But what we do is most of the times when somebody asks you, you just presume that this is probably what they want from me. हम लोग एज्यूम कर लेते हैं कि सामने वाले को हमसे ये चाहिए, बट हम चेक नहीं करते कि हमको जो चाहिए क्या हमने वो चीज ठीक से कन्वे की के. So the questions that you ask should be very, very focused and should be, with an intention of getting maximum information so that you can serve the client in a better way. करेक्ट. अगर आपने आर्ट ऑफ क्वेश्चनिंग को ठीक से यूज किया तो यू विल गेट मोर क्लाइंट्स, यू विल गेट मोर फ्रेंड्स, योर रिलेशनशिप्स विल बी गुड एंड यू विल बी सक्सेसफुल इन लाइफ. That is why this topic, art of questioning, is a very, very important topic. And my intention is that after today's session, you become good at asking the right questions in a smart way. Are we ready to go? Yes. Why has Krishna turned down? I think yes, now it's come. Fine. So we talked about probing questions or searching questions. Then there are questions which could be empathetic questions. Like, Usha, how are you feeling now? It must have been really hectic for you to come to class here, then go back and attend this session, right? So this is a empathetic question. So you can have empathetic questions, you can have searching questions. The third kind of questioning is called as critical questioning. Critical questioning can sometimes break relationships. Like, why did you talk to me like that? You have no right to, criticize me. Every time you're doing this only. So when you question very critically, you may tend to keep people away from you and they don't want to listen to you. दाल में कुछ काला है. You have not done something correct. कुछ तो गड़बड़ किया होगा. Right? So when you ask these kind of questions, you underestimate the other person's respect and they don't feel it respectful. So if you ask a critical question to demean somebody, it is a bad thing. But if you have critical questions to complete a work properly, it's a good thing. Like critical questions with respect to, thinking out of the box. When you brought this project to me, did you consider the cost factor? So this becomes a critical question. That is thinking in a different way to ensure that the work is done on time. Okay. So critical questions. Then there are questions which may seem like advices. Do you want me to tell you how to do this? Come on, I'll help you with this. But every time, everybody does not need your help. So as far as possible, try not to do advising questions because nobody likes to be advised. I'll tell you what you can do with your work. This is how you can do it. Okay. So when you ask advising questions, people do not like it. So you have to be very, very careful with advising questions. So the art of questioning, you can master it. And with that mastery, you can get things done and bring people closer to you, not far away from you. All right. So, like, for example, if you start asking closed or loaded questions, such as, why have you done it like this? So out of the 4 types that I told you, what kind of question is this? Why have you done it like this?
The third type you roll, I guess.
The critical. Correct? We
Yeah.
talked about searching, we talked about empathizing, we talked about critical, and we talked about advising. So very correct. So 1 point to you, Krishna. So, sorry. Yeah. Now, one HR specialist finds that why questions sometimes trigger resistance. The moment you ask why, there is a resistance that comes. So, instead of asking why questions, can we say how come? Like, for example, why were you late today? If I ask you, why were you late today? It's like, हाँ, मुझे मालूम है, तुम समय पे नहीं आते हो. Instead of them say, how come you became late today? Like, Usha is always on time. So one day she came late and said, how come you're late today? You always come on time. So she will feel appreciated for the quality of her being punctual. And today she has been late. That means there is something that has happened, right? So instead of asking why questions, if you ask how come questions, then it is more respectful. So how come will be in which category?
Empathetic.
Perfect. So again, another point to Krishna. Bell पहले कौन बजाता है? Unmute कौन पहले करता है? So Krishna has got 2 points. Okay. Now, what did you do today? Critical. Akshara said that. What did you do today? So when you're asking only what did you do today, with that tone and that thing, especially because of the tone, it is critical. कि मेरे को मालूम है कुछ तो गड़बड़ किया तूने, right? But suppose I say, oh, how was your day? What did you do today?
Empathetic.
That's empathy. Correct? So 3, 1, Akshara. Usha, your account is not opened yet. Okay. At least as the, when you talk about why have you done this, it can feel like, हाँ अभी नेक्स्ट क्या पूछेंगे. कुछ लोग है ना जो पुलिस जैसा अपने को लगता है, अरे अभी तो अपनी वाट लग गई. So पुलिस इंटरोगेशन जैसे तो why have you done this? I will see to it that next time you don't do this. It's like a police interrogation. So people don't feel safe to share or open up. So many times your questions can deter people from opening up with you. अभी ये क्या सोचेगा? छोड़ना उसको, उससे बात ही नहीं करनी है. Right? So, this creates an unsafe space and unease spreads to the rest of the team. At least as important as the words used are the perceived attitude and intention of the questioner. The question, is everyone okay with that? What kind of a question? Is everyone okay with that?
Empathetic.
Searching.
Empathetic?
Searching.
It's more searching. It's more searching. Yes, Usha's opened her account with 1 point. So is everyone okay with that? So you are including everybody. Okay. Next, when I ask searching questions, I make it clear that it's okay if you don't have an answer or if you don't have it right away. This is what Charles Boazes, CEO of the Medical Technology Group at MTD, tells. So your tone often matters more than the question. People sometimes assume you are testing them. You did not do your homework, na? You did not do your homework, na, today?
It is
It's
advisory.
more like a sentence than a question, right? But it's a question discounting your intentions. Okay. Okay. People sometimes assume you're testing them, and problems of interpretation are exacerbated in the virtual meetings where intention is harder to assess. You can't be sure of how your question has landed. Without the full body cues of the in-person meetings, leaders have to learn even more strongly into asking the right questions and listening for misunderstandings or trigger points. Lisa Curtis, the founder of CEO of Kuli Kuli Foods, wrote in the Inc. magazine. So these are all leaders. I'm taking the questions being asked by leaders of various industries. Okay. Because if you have to be a leader, you have to ask the right questions in a smart way. The author of Change Your Questions, Change Your Life and founder of the Inquiry Institute calls learner mode as opposed to judger mode. So if you go with a learner mode, you want to learn something rather than you want to judge somebody. So think about the questions that you have been asking your friends and family and check whether you are in the learner mode or whether you are in the judger mode. जजर मतलब आप जज कर रहे हो क्वेश्चन से और लर्नर बोलेगा तो आपको इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए, आप सीख कर रहे हो इंफॉर्मेशन को. सो चेक whether you are in the learner mode or whether you are in the judger mode. Yes, Usha?
Hello.
Yeah. Your questions most often, is it in the learner mode or is it in the judger mode?
Learner mode.
Yeah. Respectful
Yes.
with the other person,
Yes.
trying
Yes.
to judge that
Always.
person.
Yes.
No, mine, I would say it is like 75-25. 25% of the times I do judge, like, especially with my son. So when get up and ask him, you're coming with me, not to the office. So I have this judging thing. Abhi tu na bol ke dekh. I do that. So uh, we have to stop the judger mode and we have to come into the mode of a learner. Will you love to come with me today? Will you love to come with me today? So that sounds more respectful, more happier also. And it shows the intention. So one is reactive and short-sighted and focuses on discovering who is to blame. Yes, Usha, you have a question?
Miss, I want to, when you said that we can make softer the judge question, so
Hmm.
then it depends upon your tone and expression.
Yeah, tone and expressions also it depends. The content, the tone, the expressions all will define your intention to the other person. So I would say, even if you don't go too much on the content and focus on the content, if you bring the intention, no, automatically the content will come out correctly. So whenever you want to ask somebody something, first put the intention why you're asking it. So many times I start my questions to a critical person in a way like, see, I want to really know the depth of the matter. So I am asking you, I don't want to advise you or I don't want to discount your opinion, but I'm asking because I genuinely want to know the answer. So when you give this explanation, your intention comes across through the content also. Is that clear? Okay. When the entire team contributes, there is no guarantee that the kinds of questions will be covered, especially in high stress situations. So, team members may have shared a blind spot. In that case, try to assign one question type to each member of at least the group's collective repertoire is reasonably balanced. So, when you have the kind of questions that is necessary to bring out a particular outcome, आप क्वेश्चन किस लिए पूछ रहे हो? What is the outcome of asking that question? Is it building the relationship or is it breaking the relationship? So even before you ask questions, you must keep it in mind that you should not be a judger, but you can be a learner. And secondly, you want to come closer to the person or build the relationship with that person, not harm that person. Okay. Now, the end goal is clear. That is, I want to create a questioning muscle within the team, is what one of the persons says, Gilles Morel. He said, I need to set the stage so that my curiosity is amplified by the curiosity of others. Their questions should stimulate my questions. Their questions should stimulate my questions. His remark is echoed by Jensen Huang Fei, whose belief that leadership involves getting everybody to ask and answer questions. So a leadership can be successful only if you have powerful questions to ask and answer. Repeat that. Leadership is successful. You can unmute and say that. Leadership is successful
Leadership is successful
only if you have
only if you have
powerful questions
powerful questions
set with intentions
set
Set
with the
with
intention
intentions
to ask and answer.
to
you ask and answer.
you ask and answer.
You may write this down. Leadership is successful Mo, can you write it in the comments, the question? Leadership is successful only if you have powerful questions to ask and answer. Only if you have now, if you have to be a good leader, you should also have strategic thinking, right? Now, if you have strategic thinking, then the strategic questions can be asked. Strategic questions means planned questions. Okay. Now, this planned questions can be grouped into 5 domains. First is investigative. Investigative means to find something. Investigative. Second is speculative. Means coming to a conclusion about something. Guesswork, but in a positive way. The third type of questioning is productive questioning. That there is a result at the end. That is productive questioning. The fourth is interpretative. Interpretative. And the last is subjective questions. Subjective question will have more than one line answer. Now, these kind of strategic questions can help in better decision making in organizations. Okay. They can help also to tackle key issues that are too easy to miss. The questions are, I'll just repeat the questions once again. The kinds of question we talked about: investigative, speculative, interpretative, productive, and subjective.
Miss, can you repeat the second one?
Speculative.
Huh? Speculative.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you repeat third and fifth one?
Yeah, I will say once again: investigative, speculative, productive, interpretative, and subjective. So when you face a problem or an opportunity, effective decision makers will start by clarifying their purpose. Why? Start with the why. So what they want to achieve and what they need to learn to do so. And this process is fueled by why questions. Okay. Now, why questions, as in the 5 why sequence devised by managers at Toyota, successively asking how can also help. That is 5 wives and 1 husband, we say. 5 W's and 1 husband. So 5 wives and 1 husband, that's the analogy. So the 5 wives, 5 W's. What are the 5 W's?
Which,
Why? Huh.
why, who, what, which, why, who, what, where.
And when.
When
Where,
and when.
When and where. Okay. So these are the 5 W's and 1 H.
how.
How? Akshara said that, but her this did not mute. So 1 more point to Akshara, 1 point to Krishna. Krishna, you know how many points you got?
4,
I think you got 5 and Akshara got 2, Usha's got 1. Okay. Now, investigative questions dig even deeper to generate non-obvious information, and the most common mistake is failing to go deep enough. So you have to go to the depth of the matter to know how to solve it. So like what we do in root cause analysis. Why this is happening? If this is happening, what? When and where can we fix what? Okay, so going deeper will give you more information. Now, the next one is speculative. So speculative means, what if you become a life coach? What if you become a successful entrepreneur? What if you become a great social worker? So what if questions, speculative questions are what if questions. Now, whereas investigative questions help to identify and analyze problems in depth, speculative questions help you to consider it more broadly. What if you become the next leader of the company? What if you have one more franchise somewhere else? So it will broaden the horizon and it will give you more things to know about. To reframe the problem or explore more creative solutions, leader must ask questions like what if and what else. So what if and what else are speculative questions. The very famous company called IDEO popularized this approach, and it systematically uses the prompt, how might we reach a target of 2000 crores? How might we reach a target of 2000 crores, for example? Okay. And these kind of questions was this kind of question, that is, how might we, was coined by Min Basadur when he was a young manager at Procter & Gamble to overcome limiting assumptions and jumpstart creative problem solving. So when you start asking, how might we, the moment you say we, everybody is involved. How might we is everybody's thinking like, what can I do to contribute to the target that is given? Okay. Okay. What if we used this instead of that? This can bring about a lot of changes in the way the organization is functioning. What if we use this against that? That is also a speculative question. Next is productive questions. Productive question is, okay, this has happened, now what? So you are not, if there is a calamity, what you do is you're accepting that and then saying, now what? Ab kya? Bolo, ab kya? Now what? My boyfriend and me broke up. क्या question पूछोगे? My boyfriend and me broke up. What question can you ask? Akshay, I got a chance.
What would we do now?
No.
What now?
What now?
No.
What now? अब क्या? बोलो. बोलो.
Now what can?
आगे बढ़ो
Now what? आगे बढ़ो.
आगे move forward.
हाँ. Move.
So productive questions help you assess the availability of talent, capabilities, and other resources. Like for example, today my pipe gas was not working. So I said, oh my God, what to do? I can't get my tea. So now what? Okay, let's go and get tea from outside and have a nice time. Right? So now what? So focusing on the solution. So productive questions will always be focusing on solutions. What next? What now? Okay. In the 1990s, the CEO of Allied Signal, Larry Bosdy, famously integrated a focus on execution into his company's culture. He insisted on rigorously questioning and rethinking the various hows of executing a strategy. For example, if you have to build a 45-floor building, start asking questions. Now what? How will we go forward? Where will we take the permissions? Which is the land that we need to have? What are the target audiences that we should cater to? Okay, so how can we get it done? How will we synchronize the actions? How will we measure the progress? How will we monitor the rate of work? So such questions can help identify key milestones and metrics along with probable bottlenecks. You may even know, like, okay, you're going to have 45 floors, but have you thought about how deep the foundation has to be? Right? So productive questions are result-oriented questions. Productive questions are result-oriented questions. Now, the top team of Lego, you know about Lego? Lego toys. So they neglected the productive questions when responding to the rise of digital toys in early 2000. The toy market tried to diversify its way out of trouble, introducing several products in rapid succession. These initiatives themselves weren't necessarily misguided, but each meant a stretch into the adjacent area, such as the software, that is Lego Movie Maker. Okay, learning concepts, that is Lego education, or clothing, Lego wear, collectively by far exceeded the company's bandwidth, and Lego suffered record losses in 2003. The following year, the incoming CEO, Jorgen Wigstop, shared his diagnosis of the problem with the board. Rather than doing one agency every 3 to 5 years, we did 3 to 5 agencies every year. He later told the MIT professor David Robertson, suddenly we had to manage a lot of businesses that we just didn't understand. We didn't have the capabilities and we didn't keep up the pace. So not thinking about what if or how we can, asking a lot of how questions, they were at a loss. Next type is interpretative. Interpretative means so what? So what? ये हो गया तो क्या? पहले हमारा क्या था, अभी हम आ गए तो क्या पे. So that is interpretative. That is sense-making questions which helps to enable synthesis. They push you continually refine the core of the issue to go beneath the surface and ask, what is the problem really about? What is the problem really about? So naturally, follow-ups to investigative, speculative, and productive questions. Interpretative questions draw out the implication of an observer of an idea. मतलब ये किया तो क्या होगा? Okay, you have a question, Akshara? Tell me.
What do we use for interpretative questions?
So what?
Okay.
ये हुआ तो क्या?
Hmm.
Okay. So after an investigative question, you might ask, so what happens if this trend continues? So what happens if this trend continues? Let's ask this question here. We have a trend of coming live from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Wednesday. What if this trend continues? Answer. Now everybody has to answer. Yes, Usha.
Class, so more
Usha
people.
first unmuted, so I'll give her the chance. Yeah.
People will benefit more, views will increase, your work will expand, and you will get more opportunities, and we will
Wonderful.
get more knowledge.
Wonderful. Awesome. Yes, Krishna. So one more point to you.
Yeah, people will, more people will see your content and a little bit change, like, might come in their life. Depends on the person, how he or she takes it. And yeah, your work will expand as in, and you'll get, like, if people see, like, it depends. If you're lucky, you can get a big chance to do a better one. If we are live every day, more people will
Yeah,
see
so
us,
there
and
might be some collaborators who
yeah,
will come and collaborate with the channel, especially for the Wednesday live. And then we will be
yeah,
serving more customers. We will be serving them internationally. Yes, Akshara. What happens if we continue this live further?
I think you would get more admissions and
She came right on the topic. I will get more admissions. I look at it as a way that I will get to serve more people. Money is a byproduct of your passion. So I'm passionate to bring about changes in people. So I will look at it that I want to reach out to more people to help them become their best version. Thank you so much. So you also get 1 point. Okay. So what opportunities does the ideas open up? After a productive question, so what does that imply for scaling up or sequencing? Like, for example, if you reach a target of 2000 crores, so what? It's too less. I want to reach 5,000 crores. Correct? So you start expanding your horizon by asking the question, so what? Okay. So after interpretative questions, we come to investigative questions. Investigative questions, they dig deeper to generate non-obvious information. So the most common mistake is failing to go deep enough. So getting to the depth of a matter is called as investigative questions. Can you name any profession which uses a lot of investigative questions?
detective.
Yeah, you already told she had raised her hand up. Yeah, let her tell. Yeah.
Yeah. Medicine field, matlab doctors, etc. If
Doctors,
he is a psychiatrist
detectives, psychiatrists,
or police.
lawyers. Yeah. So they ask investigative questions. A decision-making process should always circle back to interpretative questions. They provide the momentum to move from one mode of inquiry to another and then convert information into actionable insights. Even solid analyses are ineffectual if you fail to make sense out of them. 10 years ago, they worked with the top team of a high-end European car manufacturer. And when they bought up Tesla recently released all-electric sedan, some of the engineers laughed. There were 7 millimeter gap between the door and the chassis, one said. These people don't know how to make a car. So there was a serious error of sense making. By focusing on the technical imperfection, the automaker failed to spot the car's revolutionary appeal and missed the urgent competitive questions it should have raised. So it's like saying there's a big blank screen, but in that there is one black dot. So our focus goes to that black dot, but not the open space. So what is required is to ensure that you go to the depth of things, that is, investigate so much that you anticipate that if you have made a product, what could be the what you say the tip, or the fall for that product. उसमें बुरा क्या हो सकता है, क्या questions आएंगे. So if you have finished all the most frequently asked questions, you say na. So if you have an answer for all the most frequently asked questions regarding a particular product, that means you have asked enough of investigative questions. Will I get benefit from this course? Correct? What will I become after I have completed this course? So everything, if I am able to answer, then I've used a lot of investigative questions before I launch the product. Got it? Now, subjective questions are questions which are unsaid. I think I should be able to do this. When somebody says like this, that means something is there which is not said. Okay, so subjective questions, it differs from all the others. Whereas they deal with the substance of a challenge, it deals with the personal reservation. It's more people-based. Okay, frustrations, tensions, hidden agendas that can push the decision making, of course. Now, when we fail, it's often because we haven't considered the emotional part. Like, for example, there was one person who was going through a crisis and he wanted to go home. But the boss did not allow him to go home because there was an emergency even at work. Right? So what went wrong here was that person lost an important person in his family because he did not reach that particular place and he was at work. Now, this is because of not understanding his refusal. When he told his boss that, no, I cannot go, boss did not probe further. So he lost out on the emotions with which this person said, and that relationship was strained, and the employee decided to give a resignation. So if he had have asked a subjective question, what was unsaid, if he would have understood and asked, why do you want to go when there is an emergency in the office? Has something happened with you? So when you use empathetic questions to find the depth of the matter, the emotions, because of which somebody is refusing you something, then it is called as a subjective question. But not everybody is trained to ask these kind of questions. And that is why we are having this session. So, notion of the people issues as a competitive advantage gained by prominence in the aviation industry in the early 1980s. So Herb Kellner, then the CEO of Southwest Airlines, recognized that a customer experience could be dramatically improved by putting employees first and empowering them to treat people right. Now, SAS CEO Jan Carrison transformed the Scandinavian airline by inverting the pyramid. Now, to support customer-facing staffers in the moments of truth. In both cases, role of managers became to coach and support. Now, a manager is not only a manager, he also has to learn basic counseling skills and coaching skills. That is why Management Me has come up with an associate counselor course, which people can definitely invest into. Please pass me the charger. Very quick. Just a minute. Just a minute. So the subjective questions refers to the questions asked to understand the emotions behind the responses. Okay. So if you neglect this mode of question or fail to push hard enough in it, your proposed solution might be undone by subjective reactions, even though your analysis, insights, and plans are sound. So British Airways is an example. In 1997, it was the world's leading carrier of international passengers. But surveys showed that it was viewed as a staid and a stuffy. So CEO Robert Eiling and his team decided to boost the airline's global image by replacing the British colors of the plane's tail fins with ethnic designs by artists from around the world. These designs were visually striking, but the top team badly misgauged the employees' and customers' emotional reactions. The staff was distressed that a 60 million rebrand had been undertaken amid ongoing cost saving measures. British business travelers, the airline core customers, were strongly attached to the national branding and antagonized by its removal. So, as if to underline the error, Virgin CEO Richard Branson announced that his planes would proudly fly the flag. So BA new designs were withdrawn 2 years later, and misjudgment contributed to Eiling's ouster. So, it might be difficult to explore the emotional problems or issues that people are facing until the leader is empathetic and encourages opening up. So many companies have something that is called as Bindas Bowl. So Bindas Bowl is something that is, a open forum where people can freely speak about what they feel. Okay. So this were the 5 types of questions that we talked about. But depending upon the situation, we have to choose which questions we can ask. So first thing is assess your current style. What are the kinds of questions that you ask most often? After you have identified whether it is a strength or a weakness, what kind of question should you reduce? What kind of question should you ask? Depending upon the situation, you can change your questions. You can adjust your repertoire of questions, change your emphasis to reflect evolving needs, and surround yourself with people who compensate for your blind spots. Okay. So this was about how the art of questioning can be used to master your interpersonal relationships and get work done in a successful way. Now we come to the point where I would like to take some questions from you, and let's see who gets the prize for it. So who would like to ask the question? Yes, Akshara. What questions can you ask me? So the intention for asking the question should be to add value to the audience. Yes.
So my first question is that if you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go and why? Okay.
I would go to the moon
Why?
because since I came to know that the great person has set his feet on moon, that means anybody can go there, provided you're trained for that. I would like to go there to look at my India. As Rakesh Sharma. I'm sorry, am I saying the right name? It was
Yeah.
Rakesh Sharma, right? The astronaut. And he gave that dialogue saying that I saw my India from the moon. And you know that feeling that he had. So that is the sense of pride that I would feel if I'd be able to see my India. So for all the viewers from all over the world, I'm really proud to be an Indian. And yes, if I had to travel, I'd travel to the moon just to see India from there. Yes. Anybody else for the next question?
Yeah, what came to your mind so that you became a life coach?
Oh, I actually was very much impressed by my coach. His name is Rajesh Ramola. And the first training session that I attended of him, I said, wow, this is amazing. Like, he made me walk on glass, broken glass. And that really made me feel, wow, I got the confidence to walk on glass without thinking what will happen to my feet. And I said, this is phenomenal. So I started believing in myself more and I said, what if I could do this for others? I would be able to inspire so many people to become their best version. And I would feel the joy, by seeing others feel joyful. So, what joy I felt doing that, I wanted others to have that. And that is why I decided to be a life coach.
One more question. Like, as you mentioned, you were the principal of, like, you say
Yeah,
teacher.
vice principal.
So you were like, in a way, you were making people's life better, no? By
Yeah,
teaching and everything.
yeah,
Then
correct.
why a life coach only? Like, you could have done it by being a teacher also. So why a
Yeah,
life coach specifically?
that's what everybody asked me because I started training and coaching since 2016. And that time I was also in the school. So they asked me, Abhi bhi aap kar rahe ho na, so why can't you continue the same way? But then I was bored of being the vice principal. Bored in the sense, वही काम कितने अलग तरीके से आप करोगे? There was no change in the work that was being done. Of course, I loved the attention that I got from the children, the love and the adulation that they gave me, and doing something new for everyone. But कितना नया करोगे तुम? And I'm a very creative person, you know. Then one day a realization came to me when I saw my students and their parents, live a better life because of my intervention. And I said, ये सब टीचर नहीं कर सकते. So teaching can be done by anyone. Okay. To be the vice principal is possible for many people. But to be a life coach, it's very difficult. It's very challenging. And you require a lot of time for that. Like I have to spend time on you to see your transformation. Correct? Or itna time doing the normal work in school, I could not give. I had to spend time with people. I had to do sessions for them. So I could not do justice to life coaching if I continued to be the vice principal. And so I said, anybody can be a teacher, but very few people can be a life coach. And I said, I would love to take that place and spend time with people who need it. Because in today's times, nobody has time for anybody else. But I enjoy being with you. I enjoy doing the activities. I enjoy seeing, the aha moments that you get. I enjoy seeing you learn and take yourself from one level to the next. So that is something that I'm consumed with. It's my passion, and therefore I had to take this decision. And when I was dithering whether I should or should not, universe came to my aid. And every day I used to go to school. As I used to get out of my building, my ankle would start paining suddenly. So that was the first sign. Secondly, I went through a very health issue, a challenge. That was the second sign. The third sign was my mother fell sick, and when she got a paralysis attack. As I entered the ICU, she said, "Oh, now you've got time to come and see me," and that really hurt. And I said, "That's it. If I have to take care of her, I have to leave my job." So I took a conscious decision of leaving my job, taking care of her for almost 6 months. After that, she expired. And then I continued my work. So that was the third sign and, sent by universe that it is time to move on. So I remember when I gave my resignation letter also, I wrote in the letter that nobody knows when the fruit will fall from the tree. But I think it's time for me to move on from Vivek Vidyalaya. But I'm forever indebted to that institution because I grew there. And I am a speaker because of all the love, the commitments, and the challenges that were thrown at me from time to time. And I thank the institution for putting me in a spot every time. 10 o'clock, they will tell me 10:30, you have to go to so and so school and take a training for 200 teachers. And so, what's the topic? They said, we don't know. Go and find out. So, though I hated it at that time that I put on the spot, but that's what made me who I am today. And I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful to them. Yes. What's your next question, Aksara?
What's the most interesting thing you've learned recently and how did you come across it?
Oh, the most interesting thing that I learned was having focused discussions without any agenda and to see the beautiful learnings that emerge from each person. So I think a few days back we had that, Usha. We just started talking and everybody started, adding to it, and we found so many answers. So I think that technique which I developed, was something that was very interesting. And I feel, that also made me believe in all my students that they have the intelligence and you just have to allow them time to bring out all the questions so that they find the answers. That was the most interesting thing. Any other questions? Yes.
If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who could it be and why?
Historical figure. Let me think. One thing that comes to my mind is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln. And because of the kind of work that he did, the stature that he has, and I think there is one letter that he wrote to his son. Was it Abraham Lincoln? I think so. It's a beautiful letter, and I was very impressed by that. And because again, he's a giver. He was a social activist. He became the president, and he really worked a lot for the people to abolish slavery. So it was like defining human dignity and giving people their due respect. So that is one thing that I relate to. And I think I can, see his face so clearly, and we're sitting in some nice place and having coffee. So he's one person I'd like to have coffee with. Sam? Yes, Krishna.
If not a life coach or a teacher, what would have you done in your career wise? Like, if not this, then what? What do you think now? Like, we have achieved it, but still.
No, I've still not achieved. I'm yet to
No,
go
but
international.
you are yet to go international, but you are on the right path, at least.
Yes.
You could say that.
So I don't think I would be anybody else other than a coach or a trainer, because this is what I breathe. But of late, have got a lot of interest in landscaping, architecture. So I have so many architecture friends, and I used to call myself a life designer before. And that time I had this feeling, just as you design your spaces, your offices, your houses, your gardens, why not design your life? So I had put myself the name as life designer. But later on, I understood that only I understood its meaning, nobody understood its meaning. So I continue to call myself a life and leadership coach. So I don't think, I'm very passionate about helping leaders because they make a difference in people's life. And that is what I would be doing. But suppose I'm told not to do it for XYZ reasons, and I think I will get into landscape architecture, making beautiful spaces, designing beautiful spaces, or even houses, because my son showed me one, architectural feat of architect in Kerala, where he had built his house in a very different way. It was the most unique house that I've ever seen. And I was so impressed by it. And then he showed me many, many such luxurious, luxurious villas in the US, where, you had a big villa which is overlooking the valley, and there's a swimming pool, and sitting in the swimming pool, you could get the view of the landscape and things like that. And all automatic machines, and you would get the things come to you. You wouldn't have to get up from where you were. And it's such a beautiful thing. So I think luxurious spaces would be what I would be designing. Yes. Any other questions? I think you have very creatively designed these questions and, put in an intention of adding value to the audience. So Usha, do you have a question? Yes.
No, my question is relevant to Krishna's question, and almost I have got the answer from your answers. Still, I'm asking, uh, what are the reasons or what is behind behind you, which keep you the whole day from morning to evening
Your
to
love.
be look and be smiling? How? Session by session, whether it is morning, evening, or 8 o'clock.
Your love.
So
Just your love.
energy
That is,
source of
yeah,
energy.
you are the source of my energy. See, smiling here today, we have gone till 8:20, sorry, 8:16, and still you're like you're asking me these questions. So the love that you give me, the respect that you give me, the decision that you have taken to change yourself for the better, all these things keep motivating me. I just love to come and meet all of you because see, what you're doing today is a great thing. Very few people think about mastering themselves. And I believe that self mastery is the greatest thing that you can achieve. So,
But
seeing your enthusiasm, seeing your, this, like I tell my son also, he says, be at home, take some rest. I said, no, I'll be okay if I come to the class.
the
That gives
same
more
next
energy.
question, being a human being,
Ah,
you may require rest, or are you same at home also as in office?
no, at home I do become tired, and I'm open to saying that, "नहीं यार, थक गई हूँ." So I do take rest. And I'm not
Yes,
so energetic at times
it
at
is
home.
compulsory.
Yeah. So, but one thing that you have told me makes me realize that I'm more of an outside person. I can't be enclosed. I can't be contained. I need my freedom to flow. So I'm water. So that's the best space that I can be into, when I have the freedom to flow. I have the freedom to do multiple things. But at home, um, I don't feel that that energy coming in because I'm already spending it outside. So as you said, total quota khatam ho jata hai, fir kya kare? But house is a safe space where you can just be yourself and give time to your body to recoup to come back for a next session. And I think with that we can end today's beautiful session. Thank you so much for being here and see you all tomorrow at 3 p.m. Everybody tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
audience, thank you for watching every Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Secrets of Living a Full Life by Life and Leadership Coach Bijit Tushar. Stay blessed and do put in your comments on how you like this session. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed, and we will be coming back with more. Thank you. Good night.
Thank
I
you.
win when you win. Thank you.